Chickapig. This is a game that has a strange theme. The players control these strange animals called the Chickapigs, half chicken, half pig, and the Chickapigs are trying to escape from the farm where I guess somebody is trying to turn them into food. And how can you blame them? You can make chicken wings wrapped in bacon out of a single Chickapig. Can't blame people for finding them appetizing. My mouth is watering just at the thought. But in any case, you're trying to escape from the farm and you will move your Chickapigs around. It's about plotting movement, it's about moving things around. If you play the game Ricochet Robots, there are some ideas that you will recognize. Definitely it is an independent game. That is, it has all the hallmarks of a small production moved by love and passion. Somebody that was playing a game and they came up with a game among friends and they said, let's make it, let's get it out for people to play with, without necessarily going through all the steps that we have in the modern game market, without necessarily paying homage to the culture of gaming that we have nowadays. It has that independent, raw quality, that fan-based quality, for better or for worse. There are things that are good because of that, and maybe other things not so much, as we will see in the conclusions of this video. But before we get there, let's take a closer look at Chickapig. This is how the board and the super cute components look like at setup, especially a setup with 4 players. Each player has a group of Chickapigs, and what these Chickapigs are trying to do is to exit the board from the door, from the gate, from the goal on the opposite side. So the red ones are trying to get there, the blue ones are trying to get there, the yellow there. I guess you know where the green ones are going. You can also play with 2 players, in which case you only set up 2 colors of pigs. So with 2 players you can also have an epic game, and my daughter Amelia, who is 8, really likes it. Then you're sitting on the corners, each player controls 2 groups of Chickapigs and they're still trying to go to the opposite gates. And then the first player to exit 10 Chickapigs total wins the game. Because that is the purpose, depending on the number of players, the number of Chickapigs that you're trying to exit from the board through the correct gate. And that's how you win the game, by being able to get that number of Chickapigs to freedom. Then also you have hay bales that you will be able to move during the game, and you have a fence that doesn't move, and you have a cow that does move and poops. Yes, the cow poops on the board, and right there, if you're kids, you know, oh my gosh, my kids are gonna like it, because kids just love that thing. It's just hilarious to them, and it's hilarious also to many adults. Let's face it, guilty pleasure. Let's just be honest about it. What else do we have? We have a die, we have some cards, so we'll talk about those later. Basically, when it is your turn, players will alternate taking turns. During your turn, you roll the die, and that indicates the number of moves that you have. A move can be, suppose that I am the Chickapig player, a move can be to move a hay bale of my color by 1. All movement in this game is orthogonal, never diagonal. So here, 1 move, 2 moves, and then I can move something else. For 1 move, I can move the cow. The cow is like a shared game piece. So I move 2, and then I decide to move 3 and 4. And that's how you move hay bales and cows. Then for the Chickapigs, they are full of energy. When they start moving, they'll keep going until they bump into something, into the cow, into the fence, into another Chickapig, or into a hay bale. So now I'm gonna move here, 4 or 5, whatever it is, the count, and then I'm gonna move this Chickapig here. We'll get all the way there. And suppose that then later, in a later turn, I move this hay bale here, and then I move the Chickapig there, and the Chickapig goes. As you can imagine, of course, you will want to block the goal of the opponent as much as possible, but you cannot block it entirely because that would just be silly and mean. But you can still create some super annoying configuration of things, of hay bales and poop. Again, back to the poop idea. How does that happen? As we said, you can move the cow simply using one of your regular moves by 1. It is good to have your Chickapig's maneuver around the cow, can be useful. Oopsie. Or you can move the cow if you roll a 1. If you roll a 1, you can get a single move as normal, or the cow gets really active, can be teleported anywhere you want, and where it lands, it drops a poop token. Yes, I said it, and yes, I showed it to you. It drops a poop token. You may have noticed that I kind of speaking more slowly just because of the gravity, because of the momentum of the event. And then the cow can move around using normal movements. When a 1 is rolled, or simply using regular moves. The Chickapigs can move onto the poop, can move through the poop, but they don't like it when they move onto or through the poop. That's just so ridiculous. They draw a poop card, and they all have negative effects because no one likes to step on it. You draw it, and then you resolve the effect, and you shuffle it back into the deck. If you roll a 2, you can simply resolve it as normal by using 2 moves. Or you can instead draw a daisy card, and the daisy cards are all good. This time, the daisy card you keep until, some actually resolve immediately, and some you keep until it is time for you to play one, to play it and resolve the effect. You simply play it and resolve what it does. You can only have one at a time. After you play it, you shuffle it back into the deck. If you have one and you want another one, you have to discard, or better shuffle into the deck the one that you had. And this is simply how it works. Move stuff, bump around stuff, move through it because poop happens, resolve special effects. The first player to have enough Chickapigs to reach freedom is the winner of the game. So Chickapig turned out to be more fun than expected, and my daughter Amelia in particular, who is 8, really liked it. We played it in the version, just the normal 2-player version, where each player controls a single party. We played the epic game, where each player controls 2 flocks, 2 groups of Chickapigs, and she liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I found it to be, well, challenging enough. You are moving things around and you're trying to create the most efficient economic path around things and bumping into things to get your Chickapigs on the other side. But the board changes continually, precisely because the opponent's also moving their hay bales, and they're moving the cow, and they're dropping poop. And so you have to redo things and to replot things as you go. And like in Ricochet Robots, which is kind of similar, there is a pleasant haha moment where you think you can't do it, or you think you have to take a lot of moves to go where you want to go, and then you see all of a sudden you have that insight and you find a better way of doing it. There's definitely fun in that. Playing it with a kid, with my daughter Amelia, I enjoy playing it, but I definitely held back a little bit because the game can be pretty cutthroat, can be pretty mean. True, you cannot block an exit entirely, but you can pile up poop and bales all around in weird combinations that will take them forever to maneuver around. It can be pretty annoying that way. And because some pieces move so fast from one side to the other, and the cow can teleport from one side to the other, you're sometimes able to really change pretty much the configuration of the board between turns, so the opponent has a clear path, and not just because of one obstacle, they have to do a lot of other crazy stuff. So it can get a little confrontational. I did not use that element with my daughter, but if you're playing with adults, that may be the case. So it is a game that really has this quality of like, we want to make a game about Chickapigs, and that's just, we're gonna do it, who cares? So there is a sort of like freedom, the carefree element in the theme. The components are made of wood, which is just nice, unusual, fun to manipulate. But then also you have some of the elements that really give you the sense of, I don't know, certain disconnect with what have been the standard of game culture of the last couple of years. One thing is the penalties from the poop cards. They just seem borrowed from Monopoly, from other kind of games, from mass market games. That kind of penalty include, for example, lose a turn. To me, in 2018, we don't need the penalties that force a player not to play for a period of time. You came to my place and we put the game on the table because we wanted to play. Sure, you get a penalty, which should reduce your chances to win, but it should not reduce the amount of game that you're doing. Getting a timeout to a player, to me, is just so 1988. So there is that. There are other things like that that seem extremely powerful. Another penalty is a Chickapig that was removed from the board and managed to get out of the board is put back at the beginning, which actually could create an infinite loop and make the game last too long. I think there's just a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done there. Also, the rule book, it's so short, you're like, all right, I can play right away. But then right away after you start playing it, questions start emerging and you'll need to make judgment calls about a lot of situations that are not covered. What happens if you step on multiple poops in a single turn? Somebody addressed that on Board Game Geek. How about the 2 goalposts around the gates? Do they count as walls or can you move through them? We say that you can move, that you cannot move through them. You can bounce around them. They are solid objects. The cow, the diagram for setup shows it at an intersection between 4 squares. Where is the cow actually? A lot of these little questions that come out and they're not covered in the rulebook, you'll need to make a couple of judgments, and after a while you will be playing pretty much with your homebrew or home clarified rules. So in general, it's not a bad game. I enjoy playing it. I enjoyed even more seeing how much my daughter Amelia was playing it. I don't know that it's a game that I will play with my adult friends. Probably I'll just keep it like that, a game to play with young gamers, because it's easier to play as a programming game or as a plotting game than, say, Ricochet Robots. It has that element. But actually, if I'm playing a game of that kind, and I'm with adults, probably then I will go for Ricochet Robot that really gives my brain a nice workout. So Chickapig it's entertaining, it's okay, it's not bad. My daughter loves it. As a game for adults, it seems good. Seems good. No more, no less than that.